Williams F1 team seems to have pulled off some kind of misdirection magic trick, and I am so here for it. Before the season started, I thought the Williams F1 team was going to be very firmly in the midfield because they kept saying that they are so focused on the 2026 F1 season, and so I thought that was just kind of that on that. But we've got to the Miami F1 race weekend, and the Williams F1 team is still smashing it. They've qualified ahead of both of the Ferraris for the race, and if Albon hadn't got his penalty, he would have finished the sprint race in P4. So I do think there is potential that they could be the dark horses of the Miami Grand Prix. But what else did we learn from the Miami sprint race? Well, the rain might cause a bit more chaos than it normally does. I'm not sure if it's got anything to do with the track surface, but multiple drivers were saying that they were struggling with arguably the worst spray that they've experienced in F1. And so seeming as this race is predicted to have very similar weather, I wouldn't be surprised if it was heavily impacted by the decisions that are made to go between the inters and the slicks. Furthermore, I have a feeling that Ferrari might put Hamilton on some kind of tyre offset, but yet again this may play in their favour. Speaking of Hamilton, the sprint race showed that he does still have it. Admittedly, he couldn't really not come in to change his tyres because his tyres were looking so bad, but nevertheless it did look like he led that strategy call, especially when he chose to go to the softs as opposed to the mediums, and as we saw, that worked out incredibly well for him. In fact, Ruth Wascombe thought that if there hadn't been the safety car, he might have even won the race. His performance this season has definitely been a topic for debate, but I feel like this decision shows that he is very much still on the ball. However, the people who were not on the ball was the Red Bull pit crew. This is the second race for Red Bull where their pit stops have significantly impacted their driver's race. Because of the unsafe release, he picked up a 10-second penalty, which means that this is the first time he has finished outside the points since 2016. It was an almost textbook example of an unsafe release. And when Ted Gravitz was interviewing Christian Horner, all he said was that it was a human error and then he kept walking. He very clearly did not want to talk about it, and I'm not surprised. So it does look like they have a bit of a pit stop issue, and I do hope they're able to get on top of it very soon. Now, the other driver who was involved in Verstappen's pit lane disaster was Antonelli, and I don't want to jinx it here, but I do feel like this weekend might suggest that he is a generational talent. He got pole in the sprint quali and P3 in the normal quali, and he showed some serious skills as a rookie to be able to react to what happened with Verstappen. And even though he had to miss his pit stop because of what happened with Verstappen, he still finished in P7, which I think is really, really good going. After only 6 rounds, it's starting to look like signing Antonelli was a very, very smart decision from Toto Wolff. Lastly, I feel like these drivers didn't get a lot of attention, but they definitely deserve to given the number of places they made up.